What's up everybody, NASCAR 24/7 here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about 13 things that I would like to see in NASCAR 26, the video game. I know 13 is kind of like a weird random number, but these are the things that I've came up with that maybe most people haven't talked about. Of course there's some things that people have mentioned, and I wanted to put those in there too if they were important to me. And yeah, this is just kind of what I want, and I will say that NASCAR 25 is a solid game. There are just a few things that I think are must have in the NASCAR 26 title. And one of the things that I think is an absolutely must have is more variation in races and qualifying. So at the moment, let's take Charlotte for example. I will run 15 races, and most of these I've done pretty extensive, what do you want to call it? Extensive experimentation on. But for the most part, you can kind of tell. If I run 10, 15 races at Charlotte, I'm going to get very little change in where each driver qualifies or where they run throughout the race and where they finish the race, unless I have a certain level of tire wear and fuel consumption and force them to pit. Most of the time you're just going to get field changes or position changes on pit road, which isn't really all that fun. And even with that, there's very little change in the running order and the finish of these races. So I would definitely say that this is probably the biggest thing that needs to change to make everything a little bit more exciting and each race feel a little bit unique. The second thing that I think is an absolute must for NASCAR 26 is DNF for players and AI. So DNFs were introduced in NASCAR Heat 5, I believe. I think that was the first of the Heat title that included the DNF, and it made things so much more exciting. The fact that you could mess up your race by getting into a caution, getting involved in a caution, made everything seem more realistic and a lot more fun, in my opinion. So I really hope that in NASCAR 26, DNFs will be a thing for not only the players, but also the AI drivers as well. Alright, so number 3 and number 4 are kind of connected. They're kind of not the same, but they're kind of intertwined. Number 3 is cars involved in a wreck should not keep their spot. They should lose spots. So obviously, in real life, you get into a big wreck, you hit the wall head on 160 miles an hour. Should you keep your position? Probably not. And with that being said, number 4, badly damaged cars need to require pit stops to continue. So as of right now, you can pretty much just destroy your car, even with full damage, and just run the entire race. You really don't have to pit. It might barely affect how fast your car is, but it's not enough. And that kind of actually leads me to another part of this, which we're just going to call reason number 5, or thing in number 5 that I want for NASCAR 26, and that is full damage should matter a lot more than it does. So I think full damage should actually take the place of partial damage or light damage. And full damage, they should really crank up the consequences of every type of collision. So, if you just barely rub somebody, it should affect your car more. If you plow into something at 100 miles an hour at Martinsville, like plow into the wall, it should bend a toe link and require a pit stop to fix, if not a DNF. Just damage needs to matter a whole lot more, especially with full damage. I still think you should have an option where you can turn the damage completely off or have light damage, but I think that full damage should be a lot more realistic than it is right now. And now for number 6, The one thing I would like to see in NASCAR 26 is the AI sliders matter a lot more, because right now there's only a few sliders that actually affect what they're supposed to in the game. Like one of them being the incident slider, and even that sometimes is a little bit off. And then also the skill range slider is another one that seems to work. Kind of is the slider that makes the field either closer together or farther apart in lap times from the fastest to the slowest. But I decided to do a lot of experiments on the AI sliders, and one of the experiments that I did was the consistency slider. So if you don't know, the consistency slider is supposed to affect how, if the AI is hitting a, if they're hitting their lap times more consistently, or there's a wider range of times. So the only way you can actually calculate this is the leader's time, because it pops up in the box, the little box up on the top left that you can bring up. So what I did is I did 15 races of each at 100% consistency and at 0% consistency. So this is what I came up with. I have my notes right here. With 0% consistency, the lap time differential between the fastest lap and the slowest lap that the leader ran was 0.307. Now, the difference in 0% consistency was 0.301. So it did absolutely nothing. That stretch from 100 to 0, or 0 to 100 made no difference whatsoever. So I would like the AI sliders to kind of be readjusted and looked at and make a bigger difference. Okay, so this is kind of the last thing that has to do with the AI, but reason number 7, and I keep saying reason, I mean thing number 7 that I would like to see in NASCAR 26 is right now there is a problem with part-timers in every single race on career mode, and there's always a full 40-car field at every single track. So, obviously, it's not realistic. There's not always 40 cars at every single track. And Eric Almirola should not be dominating the Xfinity Series. But this has already been said that they're going to look at that and address that. So, I am confident that that will get fixed in NASCAR 26. Okay, on to number 8. This kind of goes along with like my issue with the damage model. Well, not the damage model per se, but how damage affects you in your car and racing. Is number 8 is going to be tires going to 0% should result in a blowout. So, as of right now, you can run your tires to 0%. It will definitely make your car harder to handle, but it's not going to actually blow and send you into the wall like it absolutely should. As well as like maybe adding a kind of like a feature or a mechanism where you could really hurt your brakes at short tracks. I think that would be awesome. So I guess that's kind of like a 2-part to number 8 as well. Alright, so I thought I had everything with the AI wrapped up, but I have one more thing. I would like to see NASCAR Heat style backstories before the races. And also, along with that, I would like to see more AI driver issues and penalties being highlighted throughout the race. Maybe having like a little update thing on the side. Or your spotter can come over the radio, or crew chief can come over the radio and tell you what's going on. Maybe the 42 right here is having a bad day and he's had a couple penalties or something like that. Just an update to make the race feel more alive and more eventful. And then also, if you remember, NASCAR Heat had these little things in the beginning of the race, and it told you like the 15 car was having an issue with their engine or whatever. They didn't qualify good, and they're starting at the rear, or somebody, the 71 of Michael McDowell, is having a really good day. They're qualified up front. But this only works if that can actually be implemented into the race. So, you got to have that mechanism happening before you have a thing that shows it and reports it to you. But anyway, I think these are things that could kind of spice up every race and make it feel more alive. That's one thing that I really liked about NASCAR Heat Number 10 is going to be burnouts and victory lane celebrations. So I would like to see a little bit of a in-depth victory lane celebration, something that we haven't gotten in a while. And also, I loved being able to do a good burnout in NASCAR Heat. I would take my Polish victory lap, and it just felt like I really just won a race. And I would like to see that come to NASCAR 26 as well. Number 11 for me is better penalty serving on road courses. So right now, if you cut a corner, first of all, I think that should definitely be moved or placed within a black flag event. But when you cut a corner at a road course, right now you just kind of stop in the middle of the road and everybody will just pile up behind you. I think it should have kind of like a designated area that you can pull off to, serve your penalty, and then, resume the race. But I don't know how hard that would be to implement, but it's something that I would like to see. So number 12 is improvements to the replay system. I know this has already been talked about, but some of the things that I would like to see are stage chapters, so being able to sort by stage. Also caution chapters, being able to sort by cautions. And then also being able to kind of view any car that you would like and have a wider variety of cameras to choose from. And number 13, my final request for NASCAR 26. This is mainly for the Xbox Series S because I play on the Xbox Series S, but better optimization and graphics. So, to be honest, the thing that disappointed me the most with NASCAR 25 is how poor the graphics were and the performance was. And when I reached out and told the team about this, they said basically, hey, you got to keep in mind the Xbox Series S is a worse console, which I'm aware that the console is not as strong as the Xbox Series X or the PS5. But the thing that bothered me a little bit is a lot of the community told me, hey, this is just the price you have to pay with the game being on Unreal Engine 5. And it's simply not true. There's a lot of games that I've played on the Xbox Series S that have came from Unreal Engine 5, and they play flawlessly, and the graphics are high resolution, the textures look great, everything about it looks great, and this game, it just doesn't. They have made quite a improvement to the graphics and the performance, but it's still not where I think the game should be. I think it alienates a lot of people, and it shouldn't, because this console should be perfectly capable of running the game well, and then also having high quality, high definition images, or just video, whatever. I don't really know how to say it. I just know that I've played plenty of games off of Unreal Engine 5 and they've all played great. NASCAR Heat 5 struggles the most out of any game that I've ever owned. Mainly the graphics, not quite performance. Performance I can deal with. There is a performance issue, but it's mainly graphic wise. But yeah, that was my 13 things that I would like to see in NASCAR 26. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this gets a lot of views so iRacing can see this and maybe take into consideration some of my suggestions. But anyway, thanks for watching.